You're up 2-0. What's the story? Are you not happy, or you're only half happy, or?
Still to be happy about.
You're up 2-0.
Job's not finished. Job finished? I don't think so.
We're not on this stage just because of talent or ability. We're up here because of 4 a.m. We're up here because of 2-a-days or 5-a-days. We're up here because we had a dream and let nothing stand in our way. If anything tried to bring us down, we used it to make us stronger. We were never satisfied, never finished, we'll never be retired. He had this beautiful quote, and it read, "Rest at the end, not in the middle." And I took that to heart. I believe there's time for resting at the end, but for me, that time is not now. Thank you for this tremendous honor in acknowledging my basketball career, but I'm far from done. My next dream is to be honored one day for inspiring the next generation of athletes to have a dream, sacrifice for it, and never ever rest in the middle.
If you somebody growing up without a mom, without a dad, without siblings, without a passion, without a goal, without life in general, bro, it's not over for you. The man above never gives us more than we can handle as individuals. No matter if you're a female or you're a male, no matter who you are in life, everyone has a purpose. You just have to find that purpose and then tap into that purpose. You're gonna need somebody. None of us can do it by ourselves. And this is a true testament of the last 30 days that we've seen someone not be able to do it by himself. Lock in, believe in what you believe in. Nobody else matters. You have to hold yourself accountable. You have to hold yourself to your truth. You have to hold yourself to your beliefs, and always believe in the power of the man above. Because nobody in the history of life been able to do it by themselves. Amen. Nobody. Don't worry about the haters, they ain't shit. Don't worry about the naysayers, because they ain't shit. Whenever you feeling a way about yourself, you look in the mirror and you say, you are the only thing that matters. There's a good quote by Theodore Roosevelt that I always believe in and I always look at. It's called "The Man in the Arena." And the basis of the quote is about all the doubters and the naysayers can say everything that they want to say, but they have never stepped inside the arena, so they don't even know what it feels like to have blood, sweat, and tears. Right. So how can they tell you what the hell to do if they've never done it?
Right. Yes.
At the end of the day, be true, be loyal, be perseverant, and just love yourself, man. King James signing off.
Your job is to try to be the best basketball player you can be. Right? To do that, you have to practice, you have to train. You want to train as much as you can, as often as you can. If I start earlier, I can train more hours. And I know the other guys aren't doing it because I know what their training schedule is. If I do this consistently over time, the gap's just going to widen and widen and widen and widen and widen, and they won't be able to get that back. So to me, it was just common sense. I'm like thinking, how can I get an advantage? Oh, start earlier. My first class in high school was 7:45. I used to get to the gym around 5 a.m. and I'd play before school, just me and my coach. And sometimes it would just be me and the janitor. But I'd play during lunch and then practice after. And then go home, do my schoolwork, and then watch a bunch of game film and games on TV and study. The mentality is a really simple one. The confidence comes from preparation. And so when the game's on the line, I'm not asking myself to do something that I haven't done thousands of times before.
To every kid watching, I want you to hear me loud. You are not your zip code. You are not your last name. You are not your setbacks. You are your vision. You are your work ethic. You are your will. You are the quiet whisper inside you that says, I know there's more for me in this life. Hold on to that voice. It will be tested. They would tell you it's foolish. They would laugh at your belief. But let me tell you, they laughed at me too. To every father, and this is important, every man listening, you are more than your mistakes. You are more than what this world has to reduce you to. Being present, being real, being vulnerable, that's strength. Raising children in this world is revolutionary. I didn't just want to be a basketball player. I wanted to be a model of redemption, of accountability, of love. My kids saved me. They gave me a reason to move past ego, past noise, past criticism. They reminded me that legacy isn't what you leave behind, it's what you lift up. To every woman who's held us together, I owe everything to the strength of women. To the women who raised us, who loved us through our mistakes, who believed in us before the world saw our potential. I stand here because of you. To the single mothers pulling double shifts, to the grandmothers who stepped in when fathers couldn't, to the sisters who became second mothers, you are the real MVPs. You've held us up when the world tried to tear us down. You've spoken life into us when we were silent. And you've shown us what it means to fight with grace and lead with love. I've been cheered, criticized. They called me a scorer who couldn't win. They said I was too loyal. Then they said I wasn't loyal enough. But they didn't know what it feels like to carry the weight of whole cities, to lace up your sneakers while the world is dissecting your soul. They never saw the lonely nights, the aching knees, the silent battles. But I kept going. I kept shooting, and I kept believing. Not because I had all the answers, but because I had a why. My why was bigger than me. My why was every kid in the hood who ever thought greatness wasn't for them. My why was my son, watching to see if his father would fold or fight. To the game of basketball, you were my way out, but more than that, you were my way in. You let me tell my story without words. You let me cry through jumpers, shout through dunks, dream through wins. You gave a kid from the projects a passport to the world. You gave my pain purpose. You gave my past a future. I never got an NBA ring, and some will always define me by that. But I know what I gave to this game, and I know what this game gave back. Legacy isn't always made in championships. Sometimes it's made in consistency, in the refusal to quit, and showing up over and over again when no one's clapping. I played the game with fire, with passion, with love, with joy. I gave it everything I had, every single night. They would tell you to be realistic. I say be relentless. They would say you're dreaming too big. I say dream louder. They would try to label you, box you in, count you out. But remember, statistics don't measure heart. They don't account for fight. They don't see the storm that built you. You were made for more. You are more than possible. You are inevitable. Tonight, I'll take my place in the Hall of Fame. But the real honor is knowing I never walked alone. You walked with me. My story is your story. So when they ask you where the greatness comes from, tell them it starts in the dirt. It starts in the dark. It starts with a whisper that says, I will not be denied. Thank you. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for walking with me. We're in the hall now, champ, and we just getting started.
Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I led you to believe it was easy when it wasn't. Maybe I made you think my highlights started at the free throw line and not in the gym. Maybe I made you think that every shot I took was a game winner. That my game was built on flash and not fire. Maybe it's my fault that you didn't see that failure gave me strength, that my pain was my motivation. Maybe I led you to believe that basketball was a God-given gift and not something I worked for every single day of my life. Maybe I destroyed the game. Or maybe you just making excuses?
One down to two, out of one. Here's Jordan. Yes. It is all over. The Chicago Bulls have won.
Going to take off on this dunk. Fly. Slam it. Right now. Show there's Michael Jordan. And his foot was honest to that tape. Oh, that was great. I wish I had the hand to do that. There he goes. He goes in straight, goes up in the air. Now he's sideways. Look at the air. Look at the hang time. Look at the flying motion. Look at his head above the rim.
Jordan trying to fit on
Man, Jordan to drive, hangs, fires, yes!
Bulls have won their sixth NBA championship in the last 8 years.
There were obviously good times and bad times. Times I wanted to shut it down, and times where you realize that all the hard work that you put into it was worth it. And it just made me realize how blessed and grateful I really am to be in this position, on this platform, to be able to impact so many people across the world by just trying to be myself. Obviously, my faith is I want to use this opportunity to shed light on who I am and what drives me to play the way that I do. I do a little sign on the court every time I make a shot or make a good pass, and I pound my chest and point to the sky, and it symbolizes that I have a heart for God. Something that my mom and I came up with in college, and I do it every time I step on the floor as a reminder of who I'm playing for. And people should know who I represent and why I am who I am, and that's because of my Lord and Savior, so I can't say that enough. The passion part is where my love for the game was bred, and I kind of got the ultimate paradox for a story. I'm the son of a 16-year NBA veteran. I remember a lot of his career. I was blessed to have a family that we never really struggled when I was growing up, thanks to my dad and his career. We had the means to do a lot growing up, but you would think that my future was set based on that fact, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. I was always the smallest kid on my team. When it comes to basketball, I was always the smallest kid on my team. I had a terrible, ugly catapult shot from the time I was 14 because I wasn't strong enough to shoot over my head, and I had to reconstruct that over a summer, and it was the worst 3 months of my life. You'd think there were no hurdles or obstacles that I had to overcome, but even when I got to high school, I wasn't ranked. I wasn't ranked. I wasn't highly touted as a high school prospect. I had nobody really running, knocking on my door saying, please, please, please come play for our school, until Coach McKillop called. And everything happens for a reason, and there's a story to everything. And if you take time to realize what your dream is and what you really want in life, no matter what it is, whether it's sports, whether it's in other fields, you have to realize that there's always work to do, and you want to be the hardest working person in whatever you do, and you'll put yourself in position to be successful. And you have to have a passion about what you do. And basketball was mine, and that's what's carried me to this point. Part of that passion is the drive to keep pushing on, and that's with who you're surrounded by. A part of that is having the will to succeed. Knowing that you put the work in and have the confidence to let it show. What I tell people is just be the best version of yourself in anything that you do. You don't have to live anybody else's story. Sometimes people make it seem like you have to have certain prerequisites or a crazy life story in order to be successful in this world. But the truth is you really don't. It doesn't matter where you come from, what you have or don't have, what you lack, what you have too much of, but all you need to have is faith in God, an undying passion for what you do or what you choose to do in this life, and a relentless drive and the will to do whatever it takes to be successful and whatever you put your mind to. Make sure you live in the moment and work your butt off every single day. And I hope I inspire people all around the world to just be themselves, be humble, and be grateful for all the blessings in your life. And I'm truly honored to be your MVP this year. So thank you very much.
First off, I'd like to thank God for changing my life and let me really realize what life is all about. Basketball is just a platform in order for me to inspire people, and I realized that. I come from a small county outside of Washington, D.C. It's called PG County. Me, my mom, my brother, we moved so many different places growing up, and it felt like a box. Felt like there was no getting out. My dream was to become a rec league coach. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to stay home and help the kids out and be a coach. I love basketball so much. I love playing it. I just never thought that I could make it to college, NBA, or stand up here today in front of you guys and be an NBA MVP. It's just a surreal feeling. And I had so much help. So many people believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. So many people doubted me and motivated me every single day to be who I am. I failed so many times and got back up. I've been through the toughest times with my family, but I'm still standing. But when I walked into the gym, I fell in love with the game. And I didn't fall in love with it just because it was me playing. I fell in love with it because I got guys like this, like these guys every single day that push me to be the best player I can be. I want to single them out. Karan, even though you just got here a few months ago, we've grown so close over these last few weeks. And I can remember when you first got here, you wrote a piece of paper in my locker and said, KD MVP. And that's after we had lost 2 or 3 straight. And I don't really say much, in those moments, but I remember that. I go home and I think about that stuff, man. When you got people behind you, you can do whatever. Last but not least, my family. My brother, Tony, I love you. Thank you for beating me up when I was a kid. I always wanted to follow in your footsteps. I pray for you every night. You've taught me to feel confident in myself, believe in myself, that I can do it when I didn't think I could do it. Dad, it's been an up and down road for all of us, but you always been there supporting from afar, texting me Bible verses every single day, telling me you love me every single day. And that builds me up, and I thank you so much. And last, my mom. I don't think you know what you did. You had my brother when you were 18 years old. 3 years later, I came out. We were stacked, the odds were stacked against us. Single parent with 2 boys by the time you were 21 years old. Everybody told us we weren't supposed to be here. We moved from apartment to apartment by ourselves. One of the best memories I had is when we moved into our first apartment.
no bed, no furniture, and we just all sat in the living room and just hugged each other. Cause that's what we thought we made it. And when something good happens to you, I don't know about you guys, but I tend to look back to what brought me here. And you wake me up in the middle of the night in the summer times, making me run up a hill, making me do push-ups, screaming at me from the sideline of my games at 8 or 9 years old. We wasn't supposed to be here. You made us believe. You kept us off the street, put clothes on our backs, food on the table. When you didn't eat, you made sure we ate. You went to sleep hungry. You sacrificed for us. You the real MVP.